Hello, welcome to Filbert Flies. I'm Filbert, and this evening we are taking a look at FSDreamTeam's newly released Chicago O'Hare International scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. You join me on approach to runway 4 right at O'Hare, and I thought we'd start with an approach so that you can get an idea of the scenery's performance impact. So I am running a 8700K i7 processor with 32 gigs of RAM and a GeForce GTX 1080 Ti. And I have to say the performance so far seems very much on a par with the default handcrafted airports, if not slightly better. So I'll let you watch the landing, and then we will take a look around the terminals, see what the airport looks like in different weather and lighting conditions, and I'll give you my thoughts. So, in the interest of keeping this relatively short and snappy, I thought I'd spare you the taxi in. We're parked up here at Terminal 1 Gate C19. So we'll connect the jetway and we will have a little tour around the terminal buildings. The jetways are custom modelled and they look very nice, I must say. The animations are no better than the default, but I assume that's an SDK issue, because FSDreamTeam specialise in jetway animations and that sort of thing, so if they could have done more, I'm sure they would have. This part doesn't quite connect up with the aircraft. Again, very, very minor point. The actual detail on the jetway and the PBR materials and the little scuffs and bits of paint missing are excellent. And if we turn around and have a look at the terminal building, you'll see that this is fully modelled inside as well as outside. And as far as I'm aware, that's a first for an add-on airport, and it's really rather nice. You'll notice the reflections in the spotlessly clean floor. The gate areas all have seating, desks, and there are even some shops open further along, including this McDonald's here, with an animated staff member called Brenda. So that's a very nice touch. Interestingly though, this C concourse at Terminal 1 appears to be the only terminal that has this level of detail inside. I'll take you over to the main part of Terminal 1 and you can see the difference. So what you've got here is a sort of 2D image of some shop fronts. You've got some people as well, but if you try and go inside, the whole lot disappears. Now I am running this on Ultra, so I'm pretty sure it's not my settings. I think that is just how it's been done. On their website, on the purchase page for this scenery, FSDT states that Terminal 2 is fully modelled, and that isn't the case. So I think that's a little bit of an error on their part. Terminal 2 is this one here. And again, some of it has that 2D backdrop. I think this part here is an example of that. Yeah. Although you can go inside this one without it disappearing, which is strange. Now, for me personally, I'm not that interested in having fully 3D modelled terminal interiors. All I'm interested in is parking my plane up and for it to look good from the outside. And I can confidently say that every part of this airport fulfills that criteria. If we keep on moving around, we'll have a look at the other terminals. So this here is Terminal 3. And again, you've got that same level of 2D modelling inside, but really nice detail outside, even down to things like these electrical points. They certainly have gone to town with the detailing. And I'll show you the landside bit as well. Again, pretty nicely modelled. So we'll keep working our way around the terminals so that you can get a feel for the thing. And then I'll show you what it looks like at night and what it looks like in the rain. So again, this 2D modelling inside. Some slightly low-res textures on the roof here, but you know, that's not something you're going to notice when you're flying in or out. Even these railway lines are reflecting the light quite nicely. We'll have a look at the texturing on the runways and the taxiways now. So as you can see, you've got tyre marks all the way along. And I quite like what they've done with the taxiway centre lines in terms of fading and texturing to make them just slightly less than perfect, which is what you'd expect in a busy airport like this. So I assume there will be no detailing inside things like this. No, and why would there? You can't see it from the outside. And here we have the same 2D backdrop, which disappears. Ignore the aircraft that you see around. Some of them, I believe, are static aircraft that are part of the scenery, but a lot of them are AI planes that use the A320 mega pack that I have installed. And here we are, back at our aircraft. So let's have a fiddle with the time and the weather, and I'll show you what it looks like at night. So the lights start to come on at around 7 PM. I presume that changes with the season. And this is what it looks like when it's fully dark. Now I have looked at some images of O'Hare at night, and if I had one criticism of the night lighting, it would be that it's slightly too yellow and not quite bright enough. That said, it creates a lovely atmosphere, and it makes for a very believable airport environment. If we get a bit more altitude, you can see what you'll expect to see on arrival. And here we have some very heavy rain and low cloud at Chicago. And you can see the reflection of both the aircraft and all of the modelled objects on the ground. This chap here, the vehicles, the terminal itself. So that's very nice indeed. If I had one very, very minor criticism of the rain effect on the ground, it would be that it's a little bit too uniform. If you look out across the apron, you can see that there aren't any particularly deep puddles, nor are there any dry spots anywhere. It's all fairly the same. And the other thing that you can see from this view is that the see-through glass windows don't seem to reflect the weather conditions. They're not shrouded in mist like this terminal over here is. And that's particularly apparent if you look along the line of this C concourse at Terminal 1. The windows are crystal clear no matter how close or how far away you get. Is that a price that's worth paying for a model terminal interior? Yeah, I think it probably is, to be honest with you. And I'm sure if there was a way around it, FSDreamTeam would have found it. And finally, here is what O'Hare looks like with a blanket of snow. Now, if I had a criticism of this, it would be that these edges to the grassy areas, the taxiway boundaries, are slightly too sharp, slightly too jagged. I don't believe that any snowplow could clear the snow quite as precisely as that. But if you look at other areas, such as here, you can see that some of the less used taxiways have a smattering of snow on them. And that is rather impressive. Let's go and have a quick look at the terminals once more. So it's very clear that some areas of the airport have been cleared of snow completely while others haven't, and that is pretty believable. And I think I would be very happy flying in here in a snowstorm and arriving at one of these snowy gates. So that's about all I want to show you. So what do I think of this airport? Well, I think it's really very good indeed. The modelling's first class, the texturing is beautiful of the buildings, the apron areas, the runways and the taxiways, and the performance is hugely impressive. That an airport of this magnitude and this level of detail runs so smoothly in Microsoft Flight Simulator is a real credit to the team that created it. I did actually try to run this airport in P3D and it was a slideshow. So that gives you some idea of how much better optimized Microsoft Flight Simulator is. In terms of downsides, as I said earlier, these are minor niggles. But I would like to see night lighting that better matches the real-life airport. I'm slightly disappointed by the fact that the transparent windows stand out in fog and low cloud. And the sharp jagged edges of the snow textures around the taxiways and the grassy areas could do with a little bit of smoothing out as well. But very minor points, and overall, I really recommend this airport. I hope you found this review useful. Do please leave a comment and let me know what you think of the scenery. I'd appreciate a like on the video, and also if you fancy subscribing, that would be great. I run a lot of full flight live streams both in airliners and in the smaller aircraft, IFR and VFR, and I also do little tutorials and reviews like this from time to time. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you for watching.